As a child, who hasn't dreamed of a favorite doll or teddy bear coming to life and being a very best friend, forever and ever? Robert Eugene Otto had a doll who stayed with him his whole life. Some say it's still with him. This is a very different kind of toy story. This doll was given to the 6-year-old Robert Eugene by the family's Bahamian maid, who was said to practice voodoo. It was the perfect likeness of the young boy and was even named Robert after him. As a young boy, Gene developed a strange fascination with Robert. He spent long hours alone with his doll, talking to it. And when anything went wrong at home, Gene always knew who to blame. It was Robert, he would tell his parents. Robert did it. Robert did it. Gene Otto grew up to become one of Key West's most celebrated artists. His fame grew, and his paintings soon commanded premium prices from collectors. He preferred to paint in seclusion, alone, indoors, and with Robert always by his side. Gene settled down with his wife Anne here at the artist's house close to Duval Street in Key West. Robert, of course, went with them. Anne disliked the doll from the moment she first saw it. It gave her chills just to look at it, and she didn't like her husband's obsession with it. Still, she humored him, and Robert was given a room of his very own, away in the attic. There he stayed until Gene told his wife that Robert was angry and demanding a room with a view. Despite Anne's objections, he moved his doll out of the attic and down to the turret room. Robert was seated at the window, looking out over the street. And that's when things started to happen. Children on their way to school said they saw Robert through the windows, moving about the turret room, glowering at them. Inside the house, Gene became increasingly irrational and violent, smashing things, lashing out at his wife, and screaming like a madman. And then, all of a sudden, he would be himself again. And he would always say exactly the same thing. It was Robert. Robert did it. Robert's influence seemed to grow stronger and stronger. A plumber working alone in the turret room with Robert fled the house in terror. He later said he'd heard Robert giggling. Other visitors swore that Robert's expression changed when they looked at him. Sometimes they said he looked like pure evil. Eugene became sicker and sicker, becoming so despondent he locked himself away in the turret room until he finally died with Robert the doll by his side. Free at last, Anne fled the house, leaving Robert behind in the attic. The new owners discovered him soon after moving in. They took one look at Robert and knew that this, whatever it was something they definitely didn't want in their home. Robert ended up here, in Key West's East Martello Museum, where he holds an eerie fascination for everyone who sees him. Visitors to the museum, completely ignorant of his strange story, have been shocked as the expression on his face apparently changed before their very eyes. A psychic investigator said that Robert's soul is slowly dying, his hair turning white as he grows older. Today, the artist's house where Robert once lived is a guest house. The building, however, has never quite recovered from Robert's influence. He's still here, in the darkest recesses of the attic, say the staff, who avoid coming up here. And after her death, Gene's wife Anne appeared here too. Her ghost stalks the turret room. Anne is trapped here now with Robert, the doll. And as for Robert, the artist, he tragically discovered that the things we love to possess sometimes end up possessing us. Would you believe it?